Welcome back to Plot to Go, episode number 30. I looked at 35, 36.
This one
36. This is episode
is
36.
36, yeah.
If you have been keeping up with our other episodes, we're recording these all at kind of once because of film festival stuff. So
It's like
Not
four
that-
episodes together.
it is, but also not that I'm any good at this normally.
No.
So it doesn't really matter. I'm Jack.
I'm Owen.
And this week we are talking about Sorry Baby, which we saw as part of Edinburgh Film Festival, and also Eddington. Yay! Divisive movies, maybe.
Is it device? Is it
Eddington, yeah.
Cool.
Which is interesting. I guess we'll get into that. We normally like to start these off about like film news that's happening or whatever, but we are going to be so far removed from that.
Yeah, anything we say is old news.
Yeah.
Spider-Man will be out by the time this episode's come out.
Guys, I've heard Spider-Man's pretty good actually. Avengers though, ooh, bad things. Actually, well, again, this is old news now, but Alan Silvestri, the guy who did the scores for the Avengers, has not been part of Marvel since then. He put like a little teaser of him playing the Avengers theme.
So they've gone back.
So I think he's back, yeah.
Since then, being only since Endgame. Right.
Do you think that that'll hit? Like hearing, because somebody made a point that we haven't heard the Avengers theme like properly since then. Do you think it'll hit in the cinema?
Depends who they use it with and like what scene and things.
Like, I'm just picturing now, like, if the Thunderbolts come out and, well, they have their own theme, but like, if they had the Avengers theme.
For example, if they try and play it at the start of the film, I don't know if people are going to be there for it.
Yeah. Also, great joke in The Naked Gun that I've just remembered. The Naked Gun title comes up, and then they do the Avengers Endgame title moving to the side. Anyway. Enough about Marvel. Let's talk about Sorry Baby. A very different sort of movie. Yeah, as I said, we saw this as part of Edinburgh Film Festival, but it is out this week finally in the UK. This is one of those movies that gets caught in the UK distribution shit.
We've got to get a rant in somewhere.
We've had a little while without a UK distribution rant, I'd like to say. So yeah, this has been out elsewhere for a while, and it got really big buzz as one of these like debut feature films that is in the camp of like the Celine Songs who come onto the scene, or like Greta Gerwig and stuff like that. It's directed by Eva Victor. We actually saw an in conversation with her as well, and producer Adele Romansky.
Her name's not going to be
yes,
here, is
Adele
it?
Romansky. God, wow.
Good job.
Thanks. Which was really fascinating, and I'm sure it'll probably inform little bits and bobs of our review. But this movie is about a woman named Agnes, or a person, I guess. She's female presenting in the movie. Named Agnes. She goes through a pretty traumatic thing in her life, and it is the years surrounding that traumatic thing happening to her. It's the years leading up to it, the actual year of the event itself, and the years following. And it is kind of just about how she copes with that thing that happens to her, the moments that led up to it and the aftermath, and how she finds a lot of like kinship with her friends, I guess, around her, and how she uses that as a way to process and get through things. Very friendship focused movie. What did you think of the movie?
I guess it. I mean, I liked it.
There's a tinge there.
No, I just don't know where to start with this.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think this is a film that's easy to talk about in terms of the fact that it is very slow and quiet. And it's exactly what you said it was, and I don't think there's much more to it. It's a film that's about some horrible thing happening to Agnes and the people around her, and her interactions with those people, and how she gets through those years following the event. I love the way that the film is broken down for us. It's in chapters, and I think personally that can be a hit or a miss, especially when you have chapters that vary size wise,
It really
quite a
does
bit.
here. Yeah.
But it really works. You don't start at the start of the timeline of this film. We start further down the line with Agnes's friend Liddy, played by Naomi Aki.
He's on a tear, by the way. I know we didn't love Mickey 17, but
oh, she was in Mickey 17.
yeah, she's great in that.
No, I think it's the perfect starting point for the film.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you just pick up with their relationship and you feel that it's something that's been lived in for quite some time. And even though they don't see each other all the time, it's something that you can sense is very strong if they can pick up the way that they did. And then we jump back to the lead up and the following years and everything.
Yeah, you get a sense for what the movie's about in that first chapter, because the bad thing that's happened to Agnes has already happened, and it is her mid-recovery, and the way that she's recovering is through her relationship with Liddy.
I think you said this is a directorial debut.
It is.
It's a really strong directorial debut.
Yeah.
The way that tone struggled in this film was fantastic. I think that's also in part just to the fact of Ava Victor's acting ability. That there's a line in the film where she comes over to her neighbor's house and she's asking for like gasoline to start a fire so they can make hot dogs, and he asks something like if he can join, and she goes, "No, we've only bought 2 hot dogs."
No, we got 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, no.
And her delivery in that scene is excellent.
It's great.
So yeah, I actually think part of what makes this film work so well is also just her being the central character, and her knowing exactly how she wants to take that performance.
Yeah, they're doing something special. I mean, it makes sense. Like even hearing them talk when they were saying like how long this has been in like process for, like was pre-pandemic or during the pandemic. That they've been working on this. So like they spoke about this. What was it? They were like, they weren't sure that they wanted to actually act in the movie, but actually like writing more with the character, spend time with the character, and producers telling them to be the main person in it.
Yeah, they were the first person cast.
Yeah. And it all kind of hinges on them. They're wonderful. I completely agree. And it is tone. That's the biggest thing I can say about this movie. Is like, I think I'd put it up there with like some of the best movies I've ever seen handle tone. Because you can have movies like this where like they try to be funny. Because this is a funny. It's a comedy, I would say, in part.
Yeah, it's weirdly more funny than you'd think it would be.
Totally. I mean, the whole start of the movie is actually quite funny, and it's a great place setter for then what follows. But you can sometimes have like scenes back to back in certain movies where it's like purpose is to make you laugh, purpose is to make you sad or uncomfortable, whatever, and it feels like the movie's throwing you about the place, but they guide you so well that nothing ever feels out of place, and it feels real to what life is. Like you're not gonna, a person who's went through a really horrible thing like this isn't gonna be sad the entire time. Like they might be happy and funny in moments. Maybe that is because they want to make themselves feel better, so it's got a tinge of like, sadness to the funniness in a way. Or sometimes they truly are just funny, because like sometimes there's happy moments in life even after something like this. So no, it's outstanding. Yeah, truly. Yar. I thought as well their directing, like as you were sort of saying, as a feature film debut, it felt very much like they knew what they wanted. I mean, this helps that we heard them speak about it, but like,
yeah, true.
I feel like you can feel it in the film as well, where like they spoke about wanting to decenter violence from this and not show the violent acts that happen in this movie, and those scenes kind of just have the outside of a place where this act happens, and it is the passage of time, and you are sitting there looking at a house and watching time pass. It's a really long extended sequence just focusing on a building. And I think a lot, maybe some other movies or people who are producing the movie would be like, well, that's going to test an audience patience level, maybe like cut that. Or I don't think a producer would be like, oh, we need to see the thing. Maybe in previous times that would be a note, I don't know. But like a way to make it more visually engaging or something. I think it's so smart because you sit in it, you know what's happening because of the lead up to that scene and stuff. And I think it's just as powerful, make you feel uncomfortable and horrified for what's happening to them without showing the violence. Like I think it was lovely because so much of like films that do explore this do not fetishize, that's not the right word, but like glorify is not the right word either, but showcase that thing.
Indulge.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, good word.
Yeah, no, I think I do think it was well placed. It's just something there to create tension. Was exactly what's probably about to happen is happening in there, and you're sitting there wondering where the sort of explosive part is gonna happen. When that front door opens, you don't know the kind of thing you're going to see down the hallway, and it actually is very quiet. It's so real. It's just she just gets up and leaves, and that's, I think this whole film feels, aside from the jokes, which are obviously like to make things a bit more lighthearted and things, the film does feel so real.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think the jokes help.
Sure. I don't mean that. I don't mean aside from the jokes. I don't think they take away from it. But I do think they're a little bit more. They levy things in a way that's a little bit above reality, I think, in some cases.
I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that. I see what you're saying. I think it's emblematic of the relationship that she has with her best friend. I think for some people they probably don't have that, and it probably is a lot more sour and horrible. Like after the thing happens, and you spend a lot of time with her and her friend, and you can see and feel like the supportiveness that she has, that they have there.
Sorry, I think the humor there is real. I think there's a lot of awkward humor that I can see a person having, but there's definitely characters in this that feel like almost not real. You know, they have that friend that's like,
oh,
really
absolutely,
mean. Yes. Like that doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
So there are moments like that in there that don't feel like reality.
Right. Okay. The thing is, yes, but also no, because having sat in physics lectures, I'm like, oh, that probably was a person that I could see. I don't know. Still, like, I get what you're saying, like levity there for like film's sake, but I don't know. I still thought it was very grounded and in reality, and also not everything has to be grounded necessarily be
real
good. Well, yes. I love how her personality, their personality came through in the script as well. Like, again, nice that we got to see them speak, but it feels very much in their voice. And I still think you can feel that through the film. Like, it feels singular. Like, I don't think a lot of people could write a movie like this. It feels like someone's actual like distinctive vision and voice, which is
for sure. I don't know what they're like as a writer, director, actor, etc. But like I felt like theirs.
Well, yeah, and just getting to see them.
Yeah, getting.
I was like, oh,
I'll just say listen to them. Like, oh, that's your film. Yeah,
which was really cool. Yeah, I couldn't recommend this enough. I genuinely think it's outstanding. It is one of these weird things. Sometimes, when you have the indie like camp movies that gets a big buzz from festivals, people then go like awards talk. So like Past Lives was one of those movies that then ended up like in awards races and stuff, which was really cool to see, because of how small that film was. Even though that film's slightly bigger than this, I mean, it features kind of, Actually, I was going to say it features bigger actors. It doesn't necessarily. No, Naomi Aki and Lucas Hedges are huge names. But I don't hear quite the same sort of buzz around it, and I wonder if that is because this just deals with such difficult subject matter. But I do think it should be in that sort of conversation. I really thought it was wonderful.
Good. I'd also recommend.
Yeah. If you want to laugh and cry, and see a cute little cat.
The thing is, the film is, it does have like that bleak undertone, but I'd never say that you just feel like horrendous for the whole film, because there's plenty of comedy in it.
I never felt that. I mean, I felt that way when the film wanted me to feel that way. There's like extended sequences that were like some of my favourite sequences I've seen in a long time. There's a scene in a courthouse that's phenomenal, like a great piece of comedy. And what's brilliant is as well, the comedy is like in light of what happened to them. Like specifically in that scene, they actually kind of discuss what happened to them indirectly, and the comedy is birthed out of that. And I think that is a really fucking hard thing to do, is to make people in a cinema laugh at what happened to them. And that is the purpose. It's not, you're not a horrible human being for laughing at what happened to them. They're guiding you that way. And also there's a sequence with a man who meets her on the side of a road.
Yeah.
That is hands down my favourite thing in this movie.
I think mine is the courtroom because of what you're saying. Like, it was just sort of perfect, and that is a chapter within itself. And I think it was genuine, like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I just thought that was excellent.
Go watch Sorry Baby, people. Go watch Sorry Baby. Support independent film.
Please.
Please. Actually, good on us. Most of the films that we're talking about recently have been independent. I guess moving to a film that's not independent. Oh no, sorry. Big budget. I don't think this has made its money back though, but that's whatever. Sorry. Another movie that also came out ages ago last month in the States.
Yeah, it's not been as long as
it's
that.
It's not been as long as Sorry Baby.
Yeah.
I mean, it premiered at Cannes. We're talking about Eddington. Ari Aster's new movie, director of such small indie hits as Hereditary and Midsommar, and Beau is Afraid, which nobody saw. I did, though.
Yeah, it genuinely does feel like nobody saw that.
Yeah, I know, because it was a 3-hour epic, weird movie. I would love to. That's a movie I actually wish more people saw, to just have more conversation around.
3 hours isn't that long.
When it's weird, though, I think that tests people's limits. Like, they're like, I can sit through a weird 2-hour movie. Anything more than that, I don't know.
The poster is so strange for Beau's Afraid.
It really is. It's a weird movie. But yeah, continuing his kind of foray out of horror, but having horrific elements. We have Eddington, which takes place in May of 2020. Horrific enough. It's funny when the movie starts and it's like May 2020. It sets such a tone just in that.
Yeah, I think in that moment everyone takes like a mental sigh.
Yeah. This movie is about Joaquin Phoenix. He plays a sheriff called Joe Cross, and he is a sheriff of Eddington, this small town in rural America. And in that small town, we have the mayor, who's played by Pedro Pascal, Ted Garcia. And as tensions kind of brew due to COVID restrictions, I would say mainly, Joe realizes that he should stand up for mayor because he doesn't think that Ted Garcia is doing a good job in their town. And what proceeds is Joe running against Ted Garcia in the hopes to become mayor of Eddington. What a movie.
Yeah, we saw this last night, so we've not had any time to sit with this and unpack it or anything like that.
I've thought about it a lot though.
I mean, I went home, went to sleep, got up, showered, watched that documentary, came here.
Yep. So I always had a lot of time to process. What was your viewing experience like?
So I'm exhausted. I do think I'm still ill. I thought I'd recovered, but I guess my body says otherwise. My viewing experience was me drifting in and out of this film. So
I have to say what you said to me and Samuel at the end. There's a moment in this movie where something happens.
Is it the bit that I ask about? Yeah.
Something happens and it's a really cool transition. And Owen was like, oh, there was a moment where I fell asleep here and then I woke up and it was this. And Owen had missed maybe half a second.
Yeah, I had actually slept. Well, I think that's what my whole experience was like. Like I never actually slept through any of the film, but I would nod out, and my nodding off would be nothing. Mm-hmm.
But you were so disorientated. You were like, what's happening?
Truly, because I was I came back to, are we now in horror land? Because the music at that point is horror music. Yeah. Which I think is actually it's partially there for comedic effect because of what it then cuts to. But yeah, this film feels like it has so much in it by virtue of being during COVID, which had so much going on because it's juggling the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement, mainly those two things, to be honest. But there's just there's also Austin Butler's character comes in and he's a whole separate thread that's just kind of in there, that's just throughout is the stuff that's happening with Emma Stone's mother and Emma Stone and then him, and then that goes away and then it just comes back at the end. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, this feels epic in scale and scope, but I actually think it's quite small and intimate. When you think about the movie, I think it is mainly focusing on Joe Cross, him as a character. Yeah. It's more of a character study piece on him. It
feels like it's going to be something else in the beginning.
Yes, totally.
But I think at the end of the day, that's what it is.
I also thought maybe it's the way it was advertised, the way that I heard little bits and bobs out of Cannes and stuff. I thought this was going to be a different movie than what I ended up watching, if I'm being honest.
Do you think a lot of people felt like that? Or feel like that?
I don't know. I could very much be one of these mismarketing things, because I went into this thinking, and I think you did as well, because we had conversations yesterday of being we're going to watch this. We had a long day yesterday. We're going to watch this movie, and I was a return back to 2020. I'm not really looking forward to that. And you were like, well, I'm not looking forward to the denseness of politics back then, because it's already so heavy. But I weirdly think this movie isn't really tackling right v left. I think it is centrist in the sense that it is just making blanket statements about every political denomination. It is criticizing everybody, and that is a separate thing unto itself. I don't think the movie's about that. I think it is going the left side, do they really care what they're talking about, or do they are they just saying things because they're supposed to say things? The right side, they only really care about themselves, and it's harboring hatred towards other groups of people and stuff. But I think the movie actually is more about ladder politics. Does the mayor really actually care about the small citizens of their village, the working class? Because one of the other things that this movie's tackling is a corporation is trying to move into the city. Insert whatever tech company you want. I can't remember.
I think that's why they call it this ridiculous name.
Gold something something something. It's a 30-letter word that's just gobbledygook. And I think it is more about none of these people who are in this upper echelon care about anybody. Abstract the left and rightness and the siding of politics that we so desperately cling to now. Nobody cares. I harbour, I don't want to say it's It's about class. Because I feel like maybe if this took place in Britain, it then becomes more about class. I feel like America, class is
It's a different thing.
Yeah. But I think it is more about that like structural hierarchy that exists, and especially within a small town, it's like a microcosm for the country, in an interesting way. I do think though, I don't know what your opinions are on it being set during COVID, but I think it's really effective. I personally, I think this is Ari Aster's best movie. I really enjoyed this.
I'm not going to make a comment on that because I do think it was jam-packed with stuff, and I was half asleep for all of it. I will say, yeah, I do think COVID was a useful tool in kind of going, because it was so like heated with politics and things, it's just a useful point in time to go like, insert us there and then go, oh, these are the sorts of people that exist, and to use that whole spectrum to go like, oh, this is everything that could or was going on with different people then, and we've just minimized it to this one small town.
I also think, just if you're looking at the history of the world, that COVID will be like viewed as this turning point. I think already being just a little far removed from it, it has escalated the like hatred and vitriol between people so much. Like that was already there with kind of algorithmic thinking and social media and stuff like that. But I think everybody being forced inside and having like essentially social media, I think that has caused such it's caused where the world's ended up. Like this idea that I think the movie exploits a little of kind of like virtue signaling and people not listening to anybody and actually not really caring about the issues that they're talking about, but actually just wanting to demonize the other side. Like upon reflection, because I think this test, it depends on your own politics as well. If someone who worked in a supermarket during COVID and getting mandates from higher up that were like, you have to wear a mask, you can't help people if you're not. I worked in a phone shop at the time, so I had to wear gloves and make sure like people wiped down their phones, and there was so much red tape around stuff, and we had to follow it because also at the time we were being fed information that's like, we don't know how this disease works or whatever, so we're taking every precaution. You know, as time eased up and stuff, sometimes we'd have like an 80-year-old woman who like is struggling to call her son now, who she hasn't seen in months, and you're like, oh, it's fine, I'll help you, like you break the distance or whatever, like you, to help people. The start of this movie is Joe Cross, so Joaquin Phoenix's character, like this is like the inciting incidents of the movie. He goes into a supermarket, we find out that he's asthmatic and that this guy is being denied entry to a store because he doesn't have a mask on, and I think it is confronting to you as a viewer to be like, is this man in the wrong for wanting to help a man get his shopping, and somebody who he is like, I do struggle. It's not playing into the like caricatures of like the right where they're like, I'm not wearing a sorry, I shouldn't put that accent. Typically that's where the right belongs in America, but I'm not putting on a mask because I don't want to put on a mask. They could have easily framed him that way, but they frame him as like, at least at the start, as somebody who actually really struggles wearing a mask. But then there's also bits that he is just like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to do that. Like there's a degree of nuance to his character.
Yeah, I always thought at the start that he just didn't want to wear a mask, and then added on the fact that he was asthmatic as to use that as a fact,
as an excuse,
not using the mask. Because I don't think he expresses that
until that point. I mean, we see him indirectly use an inhaler,
and it
stuff.
Becomes clear that he is heavily asthmatic.
Yeah,
so he could easily be telling the truth, but
yeah, maybe less so that point, because actually you're right.
I think also at that very beginning point, we're like not necessarily sold to the fact that he definitely wants to help this guy, as opposed to just being angry.
Yeah.
Until the end of that scene, where we do see that he's helped out this man, and you're like, oh, okay. So now I'm sold on the fact that he's doing it for good reasons. But then you still don't.
But you do, yeah. All that to say that I think that start challenges you because, I mean, we worked in stores. You did want people to wear masks, and when people weren't, you were like what?
It was
the
annoying,
hell?
yeah.
Like everybody else in here is doing it. So when it's annoying, but when you're seeing a scene like that, it brings you back to that time. And if you worked in retail at that point as well, I feel like it hits harder. But I think the film, it doesn't really answer itself. It just kind of poses is he right or wrong for wanting to help out this guy? And we see him actually want to help out this guy. But then, is he just doing that because the mayor was in the store as well? Or
yeah, because he doesn't eventually. It's only eventually he goes over to get the guy's
the shopping. A lot of interesting stuff there. And I had a point to all of that. Yeah, it's placed you immediately in his point of view, where I think he's a really interesting character to follow because it is like, is he good natured? Like, maybe you don't agree with his politics or anything, but is he actually a good person? Then the movie goes in a different direction, which is like, oh. But at least at the start, I think the film is trying to challenge you in that way. And also then when you see scenes of Pedro Pascal as his like direct opposition, I think it's also challenging your notions of, oh, but this is the good guy, right? And then you see scenes of him, you're like,
the guy's kind of an asshole.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had a point that I wanted to get through all that. Yeah, I think that, and then that being this inciting incident, and then where the film goes, I don't think Ari Aster is concerned with politics. Like, both of those men are deeply flawed individuals, and I don't think he's concerned with either of their politics really as the movie goes on. I think maybe it starts that way, and obviously COVID became so political. If you lived through it, like it just was, and it still is actually. It still is, with politicians being like interviewed about COVID and stuff. It still is politicized.
Sure.
And actually to abstract yourself out of politics to put yourself in this movie is quite difficult. But I think his point is to strip down issues like COVID or like the BLM movement and look at how humanity is eating itself alive. Mm-hmm. Like I'm saying, I don't think he's concerned about left and right and all this stuff. He just is looking at how none of us listen to each other, how we're all spouting shit, even if we believe in it, even if we don't believe in it. Like, there's a whole sequence. I have a hair on my face that's really bugging me, and I don't know where it is.
Hair splinter and bone.
Oh no. Yeah, there's an interesting story with this guy who wants to impress a girl, so he joins the BLM movement, and then his storyline goes that way. And it's an interesting discussion on, well, do people believe in what they're saying? What are their reasons for doing what they're doing? Like, I found that stuff really fascinating.
I also think that's partially supposed to show how like manipulative or how manipulated like youth can be.
Yeah, yeah.
As well.
In a weird way, though, I just think any age, like you see so many generations of people who are being influenced in this movie. However, I do think there needs to be more there. I think this is where the film kind of falters, in my opinion, just a little, is he levels everybody on this playing field because he's kind of abstracting politics and nuance out of it to be like, well, look at the issues with society at large. And I wholeheartedly agree with that stance, but also I like how that's performed in the movie. I think that's really interesting. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's kind of dangerous filmmaking in a way to equate some people and some issues like, I don't want to really get into spoilers and stuff, but the way that this film levels stuff and makes everybody as bad as each other, I think it's an interesting idea. I don't necessarily know if it's responsible in a way.
What sort of, can you talk about like what dynamic you
well,
mean?
the background of whenever you see people in conflict in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not any time, because there's a huge conflict later on. That's very much. But like when there is conflict in the movie, I just think there's a lack of nuance in why people are upset and why people are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that the idea is for him to be like, well, look, people are fighting, and how bad, because nobody's listening. But also maybe some people should be listened to a little bit more in certain issues.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say more without spoiling it, so.
Fair enough. I don't quite get what you're getting at, because I don't think there was anything here that I would say was particularly dangerous filmmaking, and anything that they chose to show, or decisions that they chose to make about characters and things.
I just think it teeters on dangerous when, like, people, this is so difficult to talk about this one, like when people I don't know, when people have opinions, and why they maybe have those opinions, slight spoilers, this movie doesn't talk about Trump at all.
Right.
And I think that's weird in the context of where America was at that time. I think it's really bizarre.
2020 is when
Trump
was still in,
yeah. And I think how that breeds certain opinions of like people in the States, that isn't specifically what I have an issue with. It's just something that I think is interesting that maybe feeds into this. But like, there's a particular scene of like protesters on both sides
mm-hmm.
of the BLM movement, and I think it's equating all those people, and I don't know if that's necessarily responsible. It's interesting, but I don't know. I it's just something I want to bring up because I think it's.
I mean, yeah, no, fair enough. I do think. Yeah, maybe we could have had points of view, like they could have like had someone who was educated in what they were talking about on one of those sides talking about it, but I guess that the whole point was that it was just supposed to be the chaos of it, and that they weren't exploring the sort of intricacies of that movement specifically within this film. I do think it's the whole like avoiding Trump thing. Maybe it is a bit strange as well, but I think you get the point of like Trump supporters. Let's be honest, are absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. Like the reason that they are where they are is normally because they've been manipulated by something online that's got them to that point. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I do think they get the message of that across in this film.
Oh sure.
With a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff. So I think without giving the figurehead of Trump more screen time, we've managed to get the message of, oh, this is how these people are like this.
Completely agree. I just think when everything else is so baked into our reality, to have a significant piece of our reality missing is weird. Mm-hmm. It is fully just because it takes place in our world as well. And specifically, like...
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
I do like, though, I think that really is the core of this movie, is kind of the way that algorithms exploit the worst in people. In so many ways, you can boil it down to winged politics, but I don't even like that. Just people. Like, the amount of time screens are on screen, or like podcasts or radio or TV or all of this noise in the movie that is just, and you're like catching little bits of it and you're like, what the fuck are they saying? Like, I found that so fascinating, And I have a read on the movie that, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but the third act is kind of like this large, grand metaphor for the way that people are using social media now. I could be completely wrong about this, because I think the third act is really compelling as just like a neo, like action, whatever, also horror at that same time. But I think what is happening in that third act is metaphorical for like how people kind of shoot from the hip without thinking first, how they'll like post shit and then not think about anything later, and then people will come out of the woodworks and want to just attack somebody for no reason, and then they're all just attacking each other and they're not listening. And I think indirectly, I mean the movie does that explicitly kind of throughout, but I think indirectly that third act is like the extremities of that, of where we are with social media, that I found really interesting, as much as I just enjoyed that scene, because that the filmmaking that he has there at that point is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think he's leveled up quite a bit as a filmmaker. Movie's gorgeous as well, really gorgeous. Do you have much more to say?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
No.
Tired man.
I am a tired man.
Okay. I would recommend this movie. I really liked it. As I said, I think it is his best movie. Even though my review was kind of all over the place, I feel like it was quite hard to talk about. But
yeah. I'm not going to recommend it just because, again, it was just an absolute mess of an experience for me. So
you're not recommending it because you didn't process it yourself.
I can't process a film that I can't recommend a film I've not processed myself.
That's so funny. Could have done more Emma Stone though. She does a great job.
I agree, because I like Emma Stone, but I don't know what place she.
I mean, film. To be honest, it could use absolutely more of everybody, because everybody's just a side character in this. This is fully just Joe Cross's movie, which is right. Oh, I forgot to bring up the point that they use a character who I think is like the best culmination of this metaphor. There's a character who works for the sheriff that is going to get exploited for two different things in the movie at two different points, and I think it is a really interesting commentary on how people get exploited in social media. It's really, it's weird. You don't want to spoil it, but it's like not really a spoiler.
No, what do you mean it's not a spoiler? Like, if you don't, unless you go into it.
Well, yeah, but you kind of want to go into it. But anyway, that character is utilized perfectly.
Yeah.
I think
there's a way in which the sheriff can appease like two sides of a coin
with a single
person. Yeah,
in different periods of time. Great. Anywho, we don't have a question this week, do we? Because we're recording all at the same time. So thank you so much for watching.
No, thank you. Thank you for telling.
Oh, thanks. That was Portugal episode number 36. Next week, we'll be back to our Edinburgh Film Festival shenanigans.
That's all stuff that you've... Oh no, there is a film I've seen in there.
There is a film you've seen. God, I didn't realise how much heavy this will be me talking.
It will be. I'm quite happy with that though, because
great. I'm also tired, huh? Yeah. I think we have 4 films next week that we're going to talk about, and some of them are a doozy, so stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe and follow us on
YouTube,
and sound a little bit more joyous about it. Come on now.
Spotify,
and
Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram.
Yay! And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.